Hey everybody, this is going to be just a review of the warm-up problems in case you miss. This is our final exam review for second semester algebra. I'm just going to go through these, so I'll work them out. All right, so solve the equation by factoring. And so to do that, you first need to set equal to 0. So we're going to bring this 6 over by subtracting. So we have x squared minus x minus 12 equals 0. Since they say by factoring, that's really the method we should use. So I'm going to pick two numbers that multiply to give me 12 that have a difference of 1. So I know I have 6 and 2, 4 and 3. It's going to be 4 and 3. And then I need to check, I want to have a negative 1. So I want the 4 to be negative so that I have a negative 4x plus 3x. So that's just the factored part. Remember, to solve, you need to set both the factors equal to 0. So we add 4 to both sides. You get x equals 4. X plus 3 equals 0. We're subtracting 3 from both sides. X equals negative 3. If you wanted to check it or do it another way, you could do the quadratic formula. All right, so let's keep going here. Sorry, I got to move this. All right, so this one says solve by taking the square root. So to take the square root, you need to get the squared term by itself. So I'm going to divide both sides by 10. So I get n squared on this side, and 250 divided by 10 is, sorry, erase that. 250 divided by 10 is 25. Take the square root of both sides, and you get n equals plus or minus, make sure you get both solutions, 25. Some people accidentally factor this problem, and you still get the same answer. So they go, oh, I'm going to bring this over. They say I could take a 10 out, and then this factors into n minus 5, n plus 5. That also works, but it did say take the square root. But that also will get you the answer. Quadratic formula will work as well. Solve each equation with the quadratic formula. So I'm going to put it in. Make sure I have A, B, and C first in order from highest power to lowest power. So my A is 2, and then I'm just going to plug stuff in. So negative 1 plus or minus square root 1 squared minus 4 times 2 times negative 78. All over 2 times 2. Do the part that's under the square root sign on your calculator. So that's going to be, just enter it in with all the parentheses. And you get 625. Then you can put it in the square root and see if it's a perfect square, which it is. It's 25. So I have to get my two answers now. I have negative 1 plus 25 over 4 and negative 1 minus 25 over 4. The top one is 24 over 4, which is 6. And the bottom one is negative 26 over 4, right over here, which you could reduce. You could take a 2 out of each of them, and that's negative 13 over 2, or negative 6.5. So that one you could have factored. It would have been pretty nasty to factor it. Again, be thinking about which option is easiest for each one. Okay, so characteristics of quadratics. There's a parabola here, and the person's throwing a rock in the air. They're not starting on the ground. That's something to notice right away. And so how high off the ground is the rock being thrown? You always just want to read and see what the question is asking. So right here is where we start. So we're starting at 3, whatever the units are. Doesn't say on this one. How long is the rock in the air before it hits the ground? So the time that the rock is in the air, it does say units there, sorry, feet. The time in the rock is in the air is given by t. So I want to know when it hits the ground. So it starts here, it hits the ground after 3 seconds. After approximately how many seconds does a rock reach its maximum height? Since we don't have an equation, we just have to approximate. And it's a little bit somewhere between 1 and 2. If you draw your line a little straighter, looks like 1.4-ish seconds. If we would have started on the ground, it would have been 1.5. So I know it's a little different. Peyton's setting a volleyball. So we have the height in feet and time. So we're hitting the ball up in the air. Right here is where it starts. So what's the ball's maximum height? The maximum happens at the vertex. The x-coordinate is time. The y-coordinate is the height. So it goes up to 9 feet. How tall is Peyton? Well, Peyton is where the ball is starting. So Peyton is at 5. After how many seconds will the ball reach the ground if no one spikes it? Right there is where it hits the ground. 5 seconds. And after how many seconds does the ball reach its maximum height? So the maximum, again, the vertex usually tells you 2 answers. You just have to read and find which one. So 2 seconds is when it reaches its maximum. That's it for this warm-up.